Hi guys! Today we're going to be taking a little walk down memory lane and looking at my favorites of 2023. Last year I shared the top 20 products that I tried in 2023, and I want to look back and see if these are still favorites now or if maybe I've changed my mind about some of them, because that's always interesting to reflect on. First favorite of 2023, it feels like longer ago that I tried this, but I think it was at the very beginning of 2023 that I first tried the Physicians Formula Butter Believe It foundation. This is a very full coverage foundation. I would say you could apply a light layer and get medium coverage, but if you apply like one full pump of this, you're gonna get full coverage. It has a really beautiful semi-matte finish. I wouldn't say it's completely matte. It still has just a little bit of life to it, and it is a beautiful foundation for full coverage. However, I just don't find myself wanting to use a full coverage foundation very often these days. Most of the time I prefer something light to medium coverage, even if I have breakouts. So I wouldn't say this is a current favorite foundation for me, but it definitely will always be my go-to for full coverage and a more matte finish, because I don't have much of that. I feel like it is hard to find a good foundation that fits that description. And this also has really great staying power. Like, it holds up really well even to like heat and humidity. So I definitely recommend this if you're looking for a good foundation. And just a tip, I would recommend buying it off of the Physicians Formula website, because on their website they have the full shade range, whereas I don't think Target or CVS or any of those drugstores carry the full range even online. And oftentimes the brand websites will have even better sales than like Target or Walgreens or wherever else you might buy this. I also discovered the e.l.f. Halo Glow liquid filter in 2023, and I would definitely say that I still really enjoy this product. I'm actually wearing a combination of these two on my face today. I mixed them together. My skin looks really bad though. My sunscreen is pilling today, which is so annoying. So things just aren't looking great. Also, I've had this makeup on for like 8 hours now. From far away it looks okay, but up close, not so much. I do think normally I would like this combo a lot more. It's just that today was a bad skin day. I've always enjoyed combining the e.l.f. Halo Glow with the Butter Believe It foundation because they just complement each other really well. The e.l.f. just adds a little bit of extra glow to it, but it's still like a soft glow. It's not super dewy or shiny. It still kind of has that matte or like semi-matte blur to it from the Physicians Formula foundation. But I love this. I also have mixed it with the NYX Bare With Me concealer to wear as a foundation. That was also beautiful. So I really like this product specifically as a base mixer because it also has coverage to it. So when you mix it with another coverage product, it's not going to dilute it as much as like a liquid highlighter would, because those don't inherently have coverage. So I really enjoy this product a lot, if you can't tell. So definitely still a favorite. The Sigma Color Correcting Duo in light to medium was also one of my favorite discoveries of 2023. I would have to say that's probably no longer a favorite for me. I did use mine up and I didn't repurchase it. I don't think I will, because I actually was planning on repurchasing it, but then I discovered the NYX Pro Fix Stick in pink. This one just completely blew the Sigma Color Corrector out of the water. It is my new favorite. It is just perfect. It's everything I ever wanted in a color corrector, and it's matte and blurring, which the Sigma one wasn't really matte. It was more of like a slightly glowy finish, so I just strongly prefer this one now that I've tried it. But before I tried this one, the Sigma one was the best one I'd ever tried, but then this one stepped in and it's like way up here. So many good products on this list. Next we have the Makeup Revolution. I still call it Makeup Revolution, even though I know they go by Revolution or Revolution Beauty. I don't know. See, I don't know what their name is. And then they have all these sub-brands like the Relove, and don't they have like a couple other brands underneath the Revolution umbrella? Anyway, whatever the brand's name is, this is a translucent baking powder, and I definitely still like this a lot. I feel like I have not used it that much this year because I have been so obsessed with pink powder. I'll talk about my favorites in my best of 2024 video, which is coming up soon, but I don't want to spoil that video. But because I've been so into pink powder, I just haven't been reaching for my translucent ones, or just my like plain translucent ones anymore, even though I still think this is a fantastic powder, and it is just about the best bang for your buck you could find in a loose powder. It's like $8 and you get this massive thing. It's like 32 grams of powder. This will take you forever to go through. Definitely still love and recommend this product, and they do make a pink version, which I'm so tempted to try, but I absolutely do not need another 32 grams of powder in my collection. I definitely still love the Essence Pure Nude Baked Blush. I have the shade Shimmery Rose. I would say this is probably my favorite glowy baked blush. I don't know if I've tried that many, but I like it even more than the Milani baked blushes. It's so soft. They have some really interesting shades in this line too. Like they have a really purpley one, which I don't think would be flattering on me, but I do think it's an interesting color and it's just not one that you see every day. And they have just a lot of really pretty colors. This shade in particular is glowy, and it just has the most beautiful, soft, pearlescent glow to it. It's not, you know, super intense or anything, and it doesn't look glittery on the cheeks. I really don't notice any glitter on my cheeks when I wear this, and it's so easy to apply, so impossible to mess up, especially because this color in particular is very light. I just have such an easy time applying it, and it's glowy without looking like a highlighter. I really don't want my blush to look like a highlighter. Even if it's glowy, I still want it to look like a blush. And this is just like the perfect balance. The next one is definitely still a favorite. It's the Fenty Sunstalker Bronzer in the shade Into Sun. Into Sun is such a gorgeous shade, especially for fair skin. If you find a lot of bronzers too harsh or muddy on you, this one is amazing. It is so soft and smooth and just like silky to the touch, and it applies so easily. It's kind of like what I was saying about the Essence blush. You just do not have to worry about messing this up because it's pretty impossible to mess up. It blends in basically on its own. You just need a good brush and it does the work for you. Definitely still very much in love with this bronzer. I also mentioned last year the Milani eyeshadow primer. I do still use this one often. This is definitely the OG of eyeshadow primers. It's one of the first ones I had when I was first starting out with makeup, and it works well. I will say there are some eyeshadows that crease on me now, and I feel like maybe as I have gotten like slightly deeper creases in my eyelids, I'm just more prone to creasing now than I was in the past. And I'm noticing more, especially with like creamier eyeshadow formulas, especially really creamy shimmers, will crease a lot more easily on me than they used to, including with this eyeshadow primer. So I'm currently testing a couple of others, the Urban Decay and the Kaleidos. Maybe I'll do an eyeshadow primer showdown. I think I'm also going to do a brow glue one, but that might actually be fun. Showdowns take a long time to prepare, but I do think it would be interesting to test and compare a bunch of eyeshadow primers, because lately I just haven't been satisfied with my old OG favorite. I also discovered the Ardell brow glue last year, and I've since retired it, but that is still one of my favorite brow gels for really laminating the brows. It laminates the brows like nothing else. That one was kind of difficult though, because you had to apply it before foundation, and you have to make sure there's no like product or skincare in your brows before you apply it. Otherwise it'll get kind of that white cast to it. That was the downside of that one, but I do kind of miss that one because it was just so effective. Like most brow gels just do not have that level of hold. I think last year was also the year that I tried Alter Ego for the first time, and in my end of year favorites, I mentioned the Midsummer palette as one of my favorites. I definitely still really love this palette. I think this color story is beautiful. This is meant to dupe the Anastasia Nouveau palette, I think it is. I really just love this color story. I love the mix of green and gold and terracotta, and even this pop of lavender is so interesting and fun. I feel like the fact that this palette is called Midsummer makes me put it in a box in my head of summer only palettes, when in reality I think this is a beautiful color story any time of year. This definitely remains in favorite status. I love it. I wish I got more use out of it, but I have way too many palettes, and I'm honestly tired of having so many palettes because I feel like I can't even give proper attention to my favorite palettes, and it's bothering me. So I think in the new year I'm gonna make some sort of changes, maybe put in place some new rules or something for bringing in palettes, because right now it's just too much. It's too much. And last year I also mentioned the Ghost Town USA palette from Nomad in my favorites of the year. How could I not? I just loved this color story so much. I still do. It's another situation where I wish I used it more. I pulled it back out in October and just fell back in love with it. I forgot how good this palette was. The shimmers are just incredible. I think this is my favorite shimmer formula of all the Nomad palettes I've tried from this year and last year. There's something about this formula that it's so creamy, and it has just like so much dimension and sparkle, and just the textures are stunning. It's also just a color story I really vibe with. I love again, the mix of green, taupe, like copper, even some blue. It's so unexpected for a fall palette too. You definitely have some staple fall colors like in this section of the palette, but then you don't usually see like blue and green in a fall palette. But I love the kind of pale, muted, almost grayish hue to those light colors. It's so much fun. I do have affiliate codes with both of these brands actually, so if you were shopping on either site, definitely get some money off if you can. Something I feel like is a forgotten favorite is the Hard Candy Eye Def eyeshadow stick in Stoned. This is a matte, like pebble taupe color. Isn't that such a nice, cool taupe? It's so, so pretty. I really do love this eyeshadow stick, especially for a quick one and done all matte look or under a shimmer like my next favorite of last year, the ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in Ritz, which I also still love. This was actually a combo of products I discovered last year. I loved pairing these two together, and this is reminding me I need to do that again because it's really been a while since I've used this eyeshadow stick. I've used Ritz recently, but I don't know, I feel like I've been a little bit more into warm tones this year, and this is definitely very cool toned, but I still love it, and I need to break out this combo again very soon. And speaking of Ritz, I still love this. I mean, just look at the sheen of that eyeshadow. I mean, it's incredible. It's a warm beige with a silver glitter throughout it. It's beautiful by itself, as a one and done shade, or as a topper. It's really a useful shadow in my collection, so definitely still a favorite. Most of these products, I'm realizing, are still favorites. Another one that I don't have anymore is the Makeup Revolution 5D Lash Pow Mascara. I almost forgot about this mascara, but this is it was my favorite mascara of 2023. And it's funny because I don't think the 5D Lash Pow was a tubing mascara, but it didn't smudge or flake on me, and I loved the effect that it had on my lashes. It was just so volumizing without being too clumpy, very lengthening as well, it had a lot of impact. And that was the one that had the cool packaging where you would press, or like you would push the lid down and it would pop out. You didn't have to twist. So really cool mascara. I do miss it, but I do not need a new mascara right now. And I would buy it again though, even though it's not tubing, because I know it, well, at least the first time it didn't smudge or flake. I have had some not smudge or flake the first time, but then the second tube for some reason did. Like the Milani Anti-Gravity. So sad. Still heartbroken about that one. I had several lip favorites last year. One was the BK Beauty lipstick in Grace. This is like my perfect nude. It's just a nice, really light, neutral nude shade for me. It's a very natural tone for my skin tone. Like it just kind of works with my skin tone. I love pairing this with a brown lip liner like Cokie Nude or Jones Road Nudist. Either of those are beautiful with this. Any kind of like neutral light brown lip liner, stunning. This is another thing I'm being reminded now to pull out and use soon because I really love the shade of this lipstick. It's one of the few lipsticks, like bullet lipsticks, that I kept in my big like Ruthless declutter from the summer. I didn't keep very many bullet lipsticks, but this was one. I love this formula too. It's so creamy, feels like a lip balm, just very comfortable. Really love it. I can't believe I only discovered the Lawless Forget the Filler lip glosses last year. It feels like so much longer that I've known and loved these lip glosses, but Juicy Watermelon was the first shade I tried and absolutely fell in love. Even though I wouldn't normally choose a pink shade like this as they sent to me in PR, I could not believe this lip gloss. It is so glassy. It's definitely a very thick, sticky gloss, so you have to not mind that, but the effect that it has on the lips is just insane. It's so beautiful. So I now have 3 more shades. I would say my favorite shade now is probably either Rosy Outlook or Nudie, but Juicy Watermelon I do still like. I feel like I'm pretty close to using this up. Doesn't it look kind of like there's not much in there? Ooh, another really good one that I need to get back to using is the Ciate London Bronze Glow Shimmering Lip Oil. Such an unexpected gem from Ciate. It's really a clear lip oil. You can see there, but it has just the slightest bronze tint and a little bit of shimmer, like golden shimmer to it. It's really pretty. I've used a ton of it. This, in my opinion, is what a lip oil should feel like. It has a nice, like, oiliness to it, but it also has enough thickness to actually stick on your lips and stay there. Just the perfect lip oil texture. I also had a few non-makeup favorites last year. The Ordinary Multi-Peptide Lash and Brow Serum. I don't have that currently, but I do plan to go back to it. It's still my favorite lash serum that I've tried so far. I talked about that one very recently in another video, so I'm not going to go on and on about it, but definitely still love that even though I don't have it currently. The Eyenique Centella Calming Daily Sunscreen. If you can't tell, I am almost finished with my current tube of this. I do still love this sunscreen. I think this is my third tube of it, and it is just the best Korean sunscreen I've tried. It's just like a moisturizer, definitely a little bit on the dewier side, so maybe you wouldn't recommend it if you have very oily skin, but it's so hydrating, so soothing, great under makeup, and it also works as a standalone moisturizer. I don't have to layer another moisturizer underneath it, so just one of my all-time favorites, and it's so affordable. I think it's like $7 normally on YesStyle. I also mentioned the Skin 1004 Hyaluronic Water Fit Sun Serum. This is another one I don't currently have. I did recently use mine up. Definitely still love this sunscreen. I would get it again if I didn't have so many sunscreens to go through still, but another great one, a little bit more lightweight than the Eyenique, but also has centella, so it has kind of a similar like soothing, moisturizing feel to it. Just love that one. That one's another great one under makeup. And the last favorite I mentioned last year was actually the Aura Ring, which I'm wearing today. I wear this every single day. I only take it off to charge it. Clearly, I still love it. I would say the battery life on mine isn't as good as it was the first year I had it. I now have to charge it every 3 days, and I used to be able to get away with like every 4 to 5 days. I still think every 3 days is pretty reasonable. I will have had it for 2 years in February, so I actually think I'm going to film a 2-year review of this, either as a short form or a long video, because even though that's not like my usual content, I kind of just want to get all my thoughts out there, lay out the pros and cons, because it's definitely not a cheap purchase. If you're not familiar with it, it's kind of a wellness tracker. It's not really a fitness tracker because it's not so much meant for tracking workouts, although you can track workouts with it. Really what it's best at is like sleep tracking. It also tracks your stress, all kinds of things. So I will go more in detail about it in that video, but yes, it's definitely still a favorite and I'm a big fan. So those are all of my favorites from 2023. It was really fun to look back on these products. Some of these things I feel like I've had for way longer than just last year, just because they're such staple parts of my makeup routine now. And in other categories, this video reminded me to pull out some of these products and use them because I miss using a lot of these things. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope that you guys are enjoying 12 days of Vlogsgiving. I am uploading 12 videos in a row all the way until December 1st. And if you want access to an exclusive 13th Vlogsgiving video, I'm going to be uploading a behind the scenes of Vlogsgiving vlog over on my Patreon and channel membership. So if you want access to that vlog as well as all of my previous videos on the membership and Patreon, those will be linked down below. Huge shout out to all of my current patrons and channel members. Thank you all. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and I will talk to you tomorrow in my next video. Bye!